Hi, my name's Cordy, and it's been 3 months since I've had a haircut or a McDonald's, obviously. Hope you're all doing well out there. I've just put new pickups in this guitar and I'm quite enjoying it, so I'm going to play it today. Today I wanted to talk to you about some dreamy kind of chords, but before we do that, I just wanted to talk you through a theory kind of idea, but in a way that hopefully you understand. If you've never heard of a cadence, in classical music there's kind of quite a lot of importance put on this, but it's like the idea of the end of a phrase. So say you had 4 bars, at the end of that it might resolve or finish in a way where you end up with a thing that might sound like this. So we would call that like a perfect cadence. So you're on the chord 5, or you might do a thing called a plagal cadence, which would be a chord 4. But so there's like a specific importance in classical music for looking at what happens at the end of a phrase, or the end of a set of chords. Why am I discussing this? Because there's a thing we can do with this last chord where it takes us away from home and then back home. So I think this is basically where we get these kind of chewy chords that we can resolve, and things don't sound crazy because we're used to this idea of going away from home and back to home. So I just wanted to show you these super dreamy chords that I found this morning where I was experimenting with this sound. So where this comes from is effectively it's the melodic minor scale, but not the altered scale that you might be familiar with. It's the other one. So this is the Stevie Wonder kind of backdoor 2-5-1 thing. If you hear this kind of sound, so we've got that kind of minor 4 thing going on. So this comes from the F melodic minor scale if we were in C, or E altered. That's the altered scale that I tend to use most. So this is where this chord comes from. So in this chord we have an A flat, an F, a C, and an E. You can put a G on the top if you want. And then I'm resolving to here. So we've got a G, an E, a B, and a C. But I also wanted to show you this. So we can move this chord through the scale. So we're going to move it through the F melodic minor scale. So you see that little movement there? This is going to be notated for you on Patreon if you want, but hopefully you can work it out from what I'm doing. So we've got an A flat, an F, a C, a D, and then a G, an E, a B flat, and a D, and then an F, a D, A flat, an F, a D, an A flat, a C, and then our C. If we move it in the other direction, you end up with something that sounds like this. So hopefully you get the kind of dreamy vibe that I hear when I'm hearing this thing. So that's something I'm going to play around with a bit more, but if you want to work out these, I'll play them through again and talk you through the notes, but the tab for it, as I say, will be on Patreon. But I just think it's a super cool sound, and it's also a good way to help you visualize the melodic minor scale, if it's something that you're interested in getting into your playing. Most of my focus is on the major scale, so the melodic minor is like the other scale that I use. It's basically those two scales are mostly what encapsulate most of my playing, but visualizing the melodic minor scale is obviously a little bit trickier if you're used to just doing the major scale stuff, so this is kind of a useful exercise for that. So the first F melodic minor, we got an F, a D, an A flat, a C, then we got a G, an E, a B flat, and then a C. A D, sorry. Then we got an A flat, an F, a C, and an E. Then we got a B flat, a G, a D, and an F. Then we've got a C, an A flat, an E, and a G. And then we've got a D, a B flat, an E, and a flat. Then we've got an E, a C, an F, and a B flat. And then we're back to our... So this is called moving chords diatonically, if you want to look it up. But I think if you move between any of these chords and C major, you'll hopefully hear like a cool resolution. So like this one, it's kind of got that film music vibe to it. What else could we try? And what you could try to do is move the voices of the chords specifically up or down. So we could try, let's just try that again here. So what have we got? We've got a D here, a B flat, an E, and a, what do we call it? A flat. So I'm going to move this A flat to here. I'm going to move that B up to here, the B flat to a B natural, so I've got a major 7. And I'm going to leave the E, and I'm going to move the C down. So what would we have? We'd have yeah, so that would work. So you could work on that kind of thing. So hopefully this is vaguely useful or interesting. Worth bearing in mind, so for each major scale you've got like this option of the melodic minor scale built off the 4. So if we were in G, we would build the C melodic minor for this sound. So it's worth checking out some of those scales and their parents, I think. Hopefully that was useful. If you got anything out of this lesson and you enjoyed it, there's a buy me a coffee link which you could use only if you can afford it and if you really wanted to. There's Patreon if you wanted to check out the tabs for this. And also, you know, if you don't want to support me financially, that's cool and fine. But if you could just like and subscribe, that'd be another way of letting me know that you want me to do this sort of thing going forward. Hopefully this is useful. It's a little bit different to our normal chord lessons on Fridays, but it's stuff that I think sounds really cool, so I just wanted to share it. So thank you for watching. I'll catch you again for one of these.